late. Um, I don't have any public hearings scheduled, so I guess we would start with the pledge to the flag, which if anyone wants to say they can, otherwise I will. Um, if we all say it, it just becomes a conglomeration of disrespect. Anybody want to volunteer? All right, you're all real voluntary today. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, Amy, do you have minutes from way back last year somewheres?
I have minutes from October.
That's the last time we met, right?
Yes.
You want to read them to us? That'll bring us up to speed, maybe.
Okay, a regular meeting of the Town of Tustin Planning Board was held on October 19th via Zoom with the following members present: Ed Jackson, Chairman; Ken Boehm, Joe Carreri, Sean Harrington, Barry Becker, John Kaufman, Mary Bermudez, absent Kathleen Hankins. Approximately 7 members of the general public, along with Crystal Weston, Town Clerk, were present. The regular meeting was opened at 7:30 PM following the Pledge of Allegiance. Resolution 37-20, on motion by Carreri, second by Bermudez, the following resolution was adopted: A 7, nays 0. Resolved to accept the September 2020 minutes. Old business, Fiegel's Lake presented new maps. Our engineer sent a letter regarding the first preliminary subdivision plan preview. Some of the items in the letter that are still needed is the full completed application, complete project narrative, details on the wells, well test and perk test. A SWIP is needed, dam safety, presentation of trees, long secra, and will there be a homeowners association? Yes, this is in the planning. The existing logging roads will be corrected. The lot sizes that are in yellow are all 3 acres, 300-foot road frontage or more. For the gray section, the applicant does not want to design this at this time. Applicant may provide the basics, perks, etc. There are concerns about this as the applicant wants to add a gate and keep it private. Are there guidelines for the houses that are being built? They have to be all wood and no plastic. Some contractors are more modern and no modulars. The yellow area on the map will be developed first. The gray area will have homeowners association restrictions. The dam will have long-term maintenance as the DEC is concerned with growth. Ed will look into how many acres are needed to set aside for the park area. Section 241.22 discusses parkland. On the maps, the number of topos need to be more legible on the new maps. The estate lots are 61, 71, and 45 acres. The applicant wants to build one main structure and then add structures to this for multiple families on one lot. This is not allowed in the town zoning. 1 house per parcel. Applicant will review the code book. The applicant can go to the ZBA or ask the town board to change this, but it's a very lengthy process. The applicant needs to have the architectural requirements listed, materials, color, who is maintaining, and snow plowing. The applicant needs to present a narrative for phase 3. The gray parcel has roads going through, and with a gate is very concerning. Who is responsible for the roads? For phase 1, is the applicant building the houses or the property owner? The applicant wants to appeal to the market. A lot of changes in the market due to COVID-19. Septic information should be available at the end of October. Kathy Michelle is looking into the rattlesnakes. DOT is looking into the entrances. Need to have discussed with the power company, and will let them know when approval is received. Resolution 3820, on motion by Jackson, second by Bermudez, the following resolution was adopted: A 7, nay 0. Resolved to accept the sketch plan for Fiegel's Lake applicant to move on to provide preliminary plot. Frank and Damaris Rivera, 18 Short Road, Narrowsburg, to combine the following lots: SBL 16-18-4, 16-18-5, and 16-18-7.2. Resolution 3920, on motion by Boehm, second by Carreri, the following resolution was adopted: A 7, nay 0. Resolved to accept the lot combination for Frank and Damaris Rivera, 18 Short Road, Narrowsburg. Solar farm, the trees on the solar farm, most of these trees are 6 foot tall and planted on the top of the ground. There should be 70 trees in total. Ed will contact code enforcement officer to discuss. Also, the grass is not being maintained. And what about the sheep? Paper roads, the county planning office will need to be contacted or town supervisor. There being no other board or public comment on a motion by Bain, second by Harrington, the meeting adjourned at 9:07 PM.
Thank you, Amy.
You're
At
welcome.
this point, I do not believe we have any old business because Hillside Figgles Lake has not come back with anything. I don't know of any others. If anybody else does, speak now. Okay, with our new business, we'll start with Narrowsburg Muse number 2 at 15 Main Street.
So do we have to accept the minutes?
I'm sorry, Sean, you're making a motion?
I make a motion, we accept the minutes. from
I'll second
October.
that.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Against?
Yes.
Sorry about that, guys.
Okay.
Penny, when
Yes.
you do a resolution and a motion, if you could please, if you could do a roll call vote with each vote, that would be good. Call out there each person's name so I can say yes or no.
Right.
Thank you.
Do you have the Muse to put up, Crystal, so we can all look at it together? Now, this page we probably should stop on and do some reading out loud. Can you just go up a little bit, Crystal? So we can, there you go. So we have a project name occupancy change from type B to type M. That's really not an occupant, a project name. Is there a name to the store?
Sorry. It's Barbara Davidson.
Yes.
At the time that we were doing this, we were still filing for our LLC. So it's now known as Tinker and Nidge LLC.
Crystal, you'll make that change on the original?
Yes.
Okay. And then we got Barbara Davidson and Kawachi Construction. The location, that's okay. And then our reason is retail space creation from what was.
What was
seating-
previously
Yeah, you
seating
read,
area
I can't,
of Tustin Cup.
I'm sorry, I
okay.
can't read it.
Retail space creation from what was previously seating area of the Tustin Cup Cafe prior to 2020 relocation on Main Street.
Okay.
Is there a secret required?
Yes, there should be. It's attached.
So that should be both type 1 and type 2, or just
I don't know.
part 1?
No, I think so.
Part 1, okay.
And actually, after we do the seeker, then we could fill in the negative or whatever, but we can't really do it now. We can't set the public hearing now till we do the seeker. So I think we need to move down to the next page.
Says property information, location Narrowsburg News, number 2, 15 Main Street, Narrowsburg, New York.
Why don't we have no application information? Barbara,
Yeah, sorry.
why don't we have that filled in, and we need the information for that?
Ah, all right. Sorry, I filled in as much as I understood and
You're
gave it
the
to Tom.
applicant, aren't you?
Well, it was sort of my understanding that Tom was like my representative as he was undertaking the work. So he sort of said, fill in as much as you can and leave it with me and I'll get it sorted. So I had assumed he'd filled in either his details there or mine if you'd needed that.
I would
I
think it would be
I
your
did-
information. That would be.
At some point, I have filled in our details, my husband and I.
Right,
some-
I've seen that, but on a different form.
Yeah, it was just on this one because it says special use. And that sort of threw me because, you know, it just seemed as though we're transferring it from a eating establishment into a retail establishment.
Which was a special use also.
Oh, is that, so, yeah, I didn't realize that was a special, considered special use.
Mhm. Yeah, they had to apply to get their use in there to start with.
Sure.
So I guess application would be,
So I put Angus
your
and
business
Barbara
name?
Davidson.
you want to give
Yes,
that?
you could put it in the business name, that's fine, Tinker and Nidge LLC.
You on that, Crystal?
Yeah, can you, as Nidge, can you
Sure,
spell that?
NIDGE.
Perfect,
Sure.
so make sure, LLC.
It's
Okay.
a British shorthand for Nigel.
I like it. Mailing address?
Mailing address would be you could just use our home address, which is 478 Delaware Drive.
Okay. Phone number would be your
Yeah,
cell? Or
Sure,
the-
that would work.
do we need the section block and lot?
Yeah, I'm
Kenny?
looking for Santana's and see if I can find it. I don't know.
I brought up 2, I just wasn't sure which one it
I'm not
was.
sure either. I've got to look at it. Look it up.
Okay.
And of course, you got to go to hard copy because the computer's in use.
You can still utilize your computer, you should be able to, if you need.
Yeah, well, I have enough trouble staying on when I
Oh.
don't touch it. I would say it's 10.1-1.1.
Okay.
That's my best guess for now.
Okay.
And I think we ought to translate the request into English, that we request a change of occupancy to
Retail?
retail from
Okay.
food service, or whatever it was. I don't think many people know what type B and type M are standing for. Now we'll
Okay,
move down. I think we're pretty well cleared up here.
yep. Special features, we have fire extinguisher, smoke detector, and exit signage.
And we have it signed by Tom and notarized, so. Okay, everybody satisfied with this form that they've seen? Let's move on to the next one they gave us. Okay, part 1 of the environmental assessment. I think again, we
I'm gonna
need
read
to
all
put
this.
Tinker and Nudge in part one there.
Yes, it says retail space conversation for
Right.
Angus, conversion,
But,
sorry. For Angus and Barbara Davidson, Tinker and Nudge.
Project and sponsor information, I thought maybe it should go up there too. I don't know. It's all right. We've
Okay.
got it there, so it's on the form. Go ahead and read the next part.
Ooh,
Oops. Hey, now it's big enough I can see it too.
is
Yeah,
that better? Okay.
so renovation of,
Narrowsburg Muse,
go ahead.
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris.
Narrowsburg Muse, number 215 Main Street, Narrowsburg. Brief description of proposed action, renovation of space for retail use. Request to change to type M, Tinker and Nidge LLC, LLC in progress. Will be a retail shop featuring, this is monthly European
Mostly,
antique. Okay, mostly, sorry.
mostly, yeah.
Vintage,
Haberdashery
Haberdashery, yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
textiles. And
Ex-
okay.
you got me on the next one, items. I couldn't figure that
Stationary and stationary items.
one. Oh. Okay,
We should require these to
typewriter
be
would be of
typed.
help.
That is what I believe.
Sorry, my chicken scratch.
That's okay.
Okay, looks like we got
Um,
name and address for okay there.
Yeah,
Now, do you want to read the questions, Crystal? Or you want somebody else to do it?
that's up to you.
Can you see it well? Because do you have the form so you can actually see it?
I have a piece of paper in front of me.
Yeah, okay, you go ahead, because reading
I
from the
do.
screen is difficult.
Does the proposed action only involve the legislative adoption of a plan, local law, ordinance, administrative rule, or regulation? Checked off no. Correct.
Okay,
Does the proposed action require a permit, approval, or funding from any other government agency?
okay.
They've checked off no, however, the building department did tell me that they do require a building permit.
It says from any other. So I think that they were
Oh,
thinking
I'm
it
not
came
sure.
into the town.
Okay, sounds good to me.
All right. No change in acreage, so we can go through that.
No.
It's just an interior of the building.
Commercial, sound good? Sorry, I forget you
Okay.
can't see.
Now we can move up. Go ahead.
Is the proposed action a permitted use under the zoning regulations? Yes. Is proposed action consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan? They've checked yes. Is proposed action consistent with the predominant character of the existing built or natural landscapes? Yes. Number 7, is the site of the proposed action located in or does it adjoin a state listed critical environmental area? They checked no. 8, will the proposed action result in a substantial increase in traffic above present levels? No. B, are public transportation services available at or near the site of proposed action? No. C, are the pedestrian accommodations or bicycle routes available on or near the site of proposed action? No.
Wouldn't
Does
that be
proposed
yes? There's
action meet-
sidewalks.
There's
Aren't there
what?
sidewalks? Aren't there
Sidewalks and, yeah. That should be,
Okay, so you guys want,
Yeah,
yeah,
yes, I would think.
that should be yes.
okay. Got it. Does proposed action meet or exceed the state energy code requirements? Checked off no.
Any idea why you checked no on that?
Well, I didn't, that wasn't,
I
that was
think-
one I left open for Tom to answer because I didn't
I
understand what
do
was
believe
regarding.
Jim Crowley checked
All
that off.
right, well, if that's the way he feels about it. You said the blue were Jim's checks, right?
Yeah, Jim Crowley
All
checked
right,
that off.
that's the way he feels about it. I think we usually check yes, but it's okay.
Okay. Will the proposed action connect to an existing public or private water supply? Yes. Will proposed action connect to existing wastewater utilities? Yes. Does the project site contain or is substantially contingent to a building, archaeological site, or district which is listed on the National or State Register of Historic Places, or that has been determined by the Commissioner of the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation to be eligible for listing on the State Register of Historic Places? No.
How close are you connected to the Arts Alliance?
It's
Is it
exact, it's right through the wall, so.
And that's.
So to me, that answer should be
Yeah.
yes, because I know the Arts Alliance is a National Historically Registered
Right.
building.
But is there another office in between the two?
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
there
It
is.
can only go
one.
either way, but it's the same building, so. I would
Yeah.
say yes. I would say
Same
yes is
structure?
correct answer.
Is the project site or any portion of it located in or adjacent to an area designated as sensitive for an archaeological sites on the New York State Historic Preservation Office archaeological site inventory? And they said no. Are you all in agreement so far?
Yeah.
Shall I continue? Okay. 14, identify the typical habitat types that occur on or are likely to be found on the project site. Check all that apply. Urban,
I guess it's as urban as Tustin gets.
Yeah.
does the site of the proposed action contain any species of animals or associated habitats listed by the state or federal government as threatened or endangered? They check
We
no.
usually say yes because of the Eagles, but I know they said no. But the Eagles,
I think they took them off the endangered list.
right, but they're still in the protected. So I think it's okay.
Okay. Is the project site located in the 100-year flood plan? No.
No,
Here's C. Will proposed action create stormwater discharge either from point or non-point sources? No. Will stormwater discharges flow to adjacent properties? No. Will stormwater discharges be directed to established convenience systems, runoff or storm drainage? They check yes. Town has under drainage. Jim wrote this. He said it goes here.
yeah,
Does proposed action include construction or other activities that will result in the impoundment of water or other liquids? No. Has the site of proposed action or an adjoining property been the location of an active or closed solid waste management facility? No. Has the site of proposed action or adjoining property been the subject of remediation, ongoing or completed for hazardous waste? Okay, checked off no. It's been signed and dated.
okay. We're done with that one, I think. Everybody happy?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't read 13, so I know what the answers are, but
We didn't.
I think we just went over
I read
13.
13. I read it. I can read it
Okay.
again.
That's okay.
me
Maybe I
read it
blacked
again?
out. Nope.
I thought you were okay there.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Now, with each of these, don't you have to discuss them?
Uh, we just need to go over them, and usually it's no or small to impact, which somebody's already checked off, which should have been our job. But we need to read through them.
Okay, so I'll read through them and then you're supposed to hold a small discussion about them
Right.
before I go to the next one. All right. Number 1, will the proposed action create a material conflict with an adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No or small impact is fine.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of land use?
No,
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
no or small impact.
I mean, depending on the kind of store. Sorry.
Well, they didn't say they
Will
were
the
going to
proposed
open that
action-
type of store, Crystal. Do you know something I don't?
I don't know anything. I don't know. Nobody asked them.
But
Will the
they're
proposed
saying-
action have an impact?
Okay, we're getting to it.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics that cause the establishment of a critical environmental area?
No,
All right. Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
no or small impact.
Okay. Number 6, will the proposed, can we see the screen? Sorry. Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy, conservation, or renewable energy opportunities?
No, there's small impact.
Will the proposed action impact existing A, public-private water supplies,
No,
No,
B, public or private wastewater treatment utilities?
no,
Okay. Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
no,
Number 9, will the proposed action result in the adverse change to natural resources, example, wetlands, water bodies, groundwater, air quality, flora, and fauna?
no,
Number 10, will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage problems?
no or small impact.
Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No or small impact, or Jim will close them down.
Fabulous.
Okay, does anybody have any disagreements with the no or small impact that they wish to voice at this time? All right, so we make our determination and sign off. And the second box, check this box if you've determined based on the information and analysis above and any supporting documentation that the proposed action will not result in a significant adverse environmental impacts. Does someone want to make a motion that we check that box?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Kathy. Second,
I'll second.
Joe, thank you. Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any comments? All right, state your name and if you're voting aye, because I don't have pictures and I might miss somebody. I'll vote aye, Ken.
Aye, Joe.
I,
John.
Kathleen.
John, I.
Sean, I.
Barry? Are you alive and well?
Aye.
Anyone else we missed?
Nope.
Okay,
Got them all.
so we have a motion that we check that box. We'll finish filling out the form. I'll sign it for you. Crystal can sign it, somebody can sign it.
Okay.
So we're good to move on.
And they
Now, we did our
pay.
seeker, we have our application. It looks like we can give a preliminary approval and set a public hearing. Any motion for that?
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor for preliminary approval for Tinker and Nudge. And is there any further discussion? Okay, I vote aye. John,
Aye.
Kathy,
I,
Joe,
Aye.
Sean,
Aye.
Barry.
Aye.
Okay, I guess that's all of us. So there's no nays.
And when will your next
Yay.
hearing be?
Next meeting is
March
March.
15th.
Public hearing should not be contentious, so how about 7:25?
Okay.
Now, Barbara, you're aware that you have to send certified notifications of the public hearing to all property owners within 500 feet of the space?
Within 500 feet. Sure, that's fine.
And if you have trouble getting the list, we just had it done there for the neighboring.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm sure it's exactly the same as
And
what
maybe
Tess
Tess-
had to do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it is. And I think that would probably be the easiest way to get it, is just see if Tess still has it.
sure. Yeah, I'll ask her for that.
We should be able to get it off the county site, and that's where I got it for her, but I'm still not up on how to do it. So I have to
Right.
call and get it done and then email it. So if she has it, that would be fabulous.
Yeah, I'll check with her. Thank you very much.
Okay, so you're good to go until next meeting. We'll see you, and then you should get your approval if we don't have anything new coming up.
Super. That's great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks. Thank you. Cheers.
Okay, Juliet's application came in kind of late. It's not signed. You're giving us today pictures from, I guess, previous. Has any of this work been done, Juliet?
Juliet, you're muted. Juliet, you have to unmute.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Juliet. Thank you for having me. Are we starting by Bridge Street?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
You gave us an unsigned application, which can't be taken and it's not notarized, along with no fee. But you gave us today pictures of the floor diagram of the bus garage.
Yes.
Has this work been done that's on this diagram?
There is basically, no, the restroom are left to be done.
So
The
I
rest,
don't exactly understand what we're asking for here. Are we opening a restaurant? What are we doing?
we're not. So we're asking for, so for the one who know my project before, this is a much more simple approach. And this is under the name of Maison Bergogne, as you know, the shop to be. And this is to ask for a special use for eating and drinking establishment to be added to the antique shop. And it's to have a cider tasting room. So you can see by the entrance of the building, there is a horseshoe bar style with the annotation cider tasting room. The rectangular you're seeing along in the middle row are skylights. And the pieces which are to be built out are the 2 restroom extension into 2 ADA bathrooms. And they're kind of across from the bar, yeah, right behind the office, which is currently existing. I'm to cover the pit with wooden slats. So that's what's marked a little further in the space, the long narrow row with little lines. This is the existing bus garage pit. So we do a cover which we at floor level and being able to use it for storage underneath. And then in the back of the building, there is basically like a prep area and catering area on the left when you're looking outside from the inside of the building, when you're looking into the garden. So the intention is to be able to host private dinners in the space.
What do you mean by private dinners?
Say it again.
What do you mean by private dinners? You're going to invite me and Sean over and that's a private dinner, or what is it?
Absolutely. But you would you would actually rent the space to do so. So that's mean we're having people doing their rehearsal dinner for their, small weddings, being able to do those kind of like welcoming for people. So people who
Okay, so you're opening it that you would have paying client take the space to have the dinner.
correct.
How many people would you have at a time?
I think we have in mind to be small, and something like under 75 would be perfect.
So
So,
we
so
need
what
an
you,
application showing this type of information to present at the next meeting, along with your parking, emergency exits, that sort of thing.
So the emergency exit is in the back, going onto the garden, and both in the front of the property, onto the
Okay.
street. Yeah, those two.
I didn't know you had one in the back. That's what I was.
Yeah, we do.
Does that go onto your property or someone else's?
It goes into my property.
Okay. I don't think we can do action until our application is repaired.
Yeah, for some reason, I'm sorry, I've never had to notarize my application. So I thought that was a process that I would do afterward.
Well, I guess you can, but you haven't signed it either. And
I-
I know when Tess didn't sign hers a couple months ago, we made her come back the next month with it.
Should I be able to sign it online and to return it to Crystal?
Well, you
mean-
need to do more than just put eating and drinking establishment on here, I think.
so if you don't mind me asking, so what we're looking at now is a catering hall and antique shop?
We're looking at the capacity of being able to receive our guests who can hire an outside caterer. So we want the capacity to be able to have people come in and have dinner in the place, rent the space in order to have dinner set up in the antique shop.
But it's not going to be open to the public as a restaurant.
Correct, that isn't.
And you wouldn't be doing the food there, you'd be getting it catered in?
Correct.
Okay, I think you need to explain all that in the application, so we're not looking for all of those things to be covered.
Okay. So
Before you were going to have guests in and you were going to serve them, so that's sort of different. And what
absolutely.
you were approved for, which has expired.
Yeah, have the plans for the previous application been eliminated? Because it seems like this plan is kind of similar to what you presented before. You just kind of changed the bar area to the cider area.
It's
And I thought we needed some door going out towards what used to be the Napa parking lot.
so it's been
There's another exit.
yeah, it's been completely simplified. So that's a seasonal space. We're keeping it seasonal as it is. And we're hosting dinners in the shop on occasion.
And are the bathrooms going to be ready before you use this as a catering hall?
Correct, yes.
Have you talked to Mr. Crowley about this, Juliet?
Carl and I have not spoke to Jim about it yet. We simplified completely the plans, so we were wanting to meet with you first.
I think you really need to meet with him first and see if you need to meet with us at all.
Okay.
You know, if you're just using the space to put some tables up and some people come in to eat and it's all being catered, I'm not sure if he wants us to get a special use permit. You'll have to check with him.
Okay.
You know, I don't know. And if you do, why straighten this up a little bit and then we can look at it. And you'll have to do the letters and all that stuff again.
Okay. Should I? So should I talk to Jim and then?
I would talk to him and get some guidance of whether he wants a special use permit to let you do that, or if you can do it the way you are or whatever. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Does anybody else on the board have a feeling of if it should be a special use permit or not?
I think it's a good idea that she talks to Jim, like you said.
See if we can simplify the process, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do.
Okay, and then you'll get the stuff to Crystal a little sooner next time because Ed has a 2-week cutoff. So I'll give you about 2 weeks to get it together.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then
perfect.
everybody can look at it, and I think we can deal with your existing sketch because it shows what goes where, but we'll need a little bit better description of what's going to be done.
All right. I'll check with Jim then.
Okay. Now, you also sent in your Blind Pond Road property at the Stone Cottage without an application. I guess you were looking for thoughts of the planning board as to whether they would have any good thoughts or bad thoughts about what you might want to do. So why don't you tell us there what you have in mind, and maybe we can give you a little feedback and you can get that ready for next month.
Of course. So the property, were you able to get the map as well?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the property is located in the Beaverbrook area. It's a 100 Blind Pond Road. It's a 26, over 26 acre parcel, and there's a stone cottage and 2 small buildings. And you can see on the top right corner, and that's boarding Blind Pond Road. The idea is to elect the property for agricultural use and being able to have perennial garden, orchard, bee yards, and being able to host rural weddings as well.
Okay, Juliet, would the area for the agriculture be in the rectangle you did by the road, or would it be out of the area of detail?
It would be mostly concentrated there. And when the horses came into place, I'll probably have a little bit more field area. But what you're seeing here in the grade, yes, perfect. You're pointing it out, thank you. This would be concentrated there, hosting wedding as well as the gardens, as well as the bee yards.
So it'd be more ornamental type gardens for people to be in rather than vegetable garden.
It would be a mix of both actually. So
Okay.
it's a pretty dense planting practice to combine both.
Okay, I don't think we have much jurisdiction over your planting a garden. I don't think that's anything we need to be involved in. Your hosting of weddings or whatever will need to be involved in the number of people and the facilities that are needed to do so.
So
So
the
I think-
idea,
I think you're going to be applying then to do your hosting on this, basically.
okay,
And there again, check with your numbers and see if you need us or if it's something that you can already do under Jim's jurisdiction.
okay.
If you can
Does it,
do it under Jim, you're much better off than having to send out all the letters and go through all the forms.
thank you. Okay, so I'll check with him.
Does anybody have any feelings about, I don't, you had said to me 150 people. I'm not sure you said that tonight. Is that still the figure?
Yes, that's still the figure. Let's, I mean, under that capacity.
Yeah. Anybody have any feelings about this? That we should tell Juliet for next month?
I would say if you're hosting 150 people, do you have room to put all those vehicles that aren't on the side of the road?
Yes, absolutely, Sean. So they're not on the side of the road at all. If you can see on the survey, there is actually a parking area which is currently existing, which was part of the logging process. And that's been so it's a compressed area. It's been shelled. So that's a hard area. And that's ideal for parking, and that can even be extended, and it's literally like a gentle slope from the road. So it is a parking area currently.
Could you also
I know
have
there's a lot
parking
of fields out
behind?
there too.
Sorry?
Could you also have parking behind the building and the area?
I don't think that would be that functional, but I can actually enlarge that area of existing parking.
It might be too swampy in the back, right?
Yeah, there is clumps
And
of
be staying
trees.
over.
Yeah, it would not be like an interesting, and you really don't want to look at the vehicle either, and you want to be as close as possible of the road.
Yeah.
Is there a guardrail there?
Correct.
really-
There is a section of it, but not. It doesn't go all the way. Like the whole parking area is completely clear and way before it of the guardrail.
Sorry.
Anybody else?
Is this area zoned for this kind of commercial activity? Isn't this mostly a residential area?
So we're in the property is located in the R2 district, and this is zoned for agricultural, yes, as like a primary use and also a special use. And this
So
is why I thought I should seek your counsel.
So shouldn't she have to get a special use permit, Kenny, to make it into a wedding venue?
That's what she's going to check with Jim and the number of people she wants
Okay.
to see if he feels that it's necessary.
And is it possible for me to, is the property, how you say, an agricultural site? Is it possible for me to act as such?
It's not an agricultural district as such, but there's no reason that you can't do farming in it. You don't have the protection of an agricultural district if you use odors and so on and have junk sitting around that you would get away with. You're in a residential R1 district, which is most of our town. But you do have the acreage at least to have some space to do things and not be on top of anybody. You're away from your borderline. The other borderline is the pond, so that shouldn't bother anybody.
you would still have to reach out to her neighbors, right? And send out letters and approval to see if they would, how they feel about it, I assume.
If she's applying for a special use permit, yes. Okay, you have some work to do in the next 2 weeks and either get it back to us or you don't need to, right, Juliet?
Okay. I check with Jim. Thank you for
Yeah,
your
check
counsel.
with Jim and start working on it with him and see where you gotta go.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Au revoir.
Au revoir.
Somebody remembers their high school French, huh?
Yeah, that's about it.
I don't remember much of the Spanish, so I don't know any French. The next item of business is a simple combination of a small lot that Tony Marsanico and Barbara and his sister Janet Scritto just bought, which is basically landlocked by their driveway, Andy Mars Lane, and it connects to their parcel of 37 acres, so they wanted to put it on. We've combined several parcels and roadways and so on in this Luxton Lake area for them before to get the 37-acre parcel. Anybody have any questions on that? Relatively simple. Shouldn't be near anybody else to speak of. So would someone like to make a motion that we approve this combination?
I'll make a motion to approve this combination.
Second? Anybody for a second?
I'll second it.
Any comments about the motion on the floor? Okay, John, I'd be aye. John? John, how do you vote?
Vote aye.
But John went dead there for a minute. Kathleen?
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
Sean?
Aye.
All right, motion carried. During the month of January, I sent you one for Tina Spangler. She had a lot across from the Sleepy Hollow house on Luxton Lake Road that she had renovated and is living in that she wanted to combine. Joe got back to me. He had no problem. I assume nobody else had a problem with doing that.
No.
Okay. I talked to Ed before. He's in Callicoon rehab. He can't have any visitors because of COVID. Chris had told me she has to be tested for COVID every 5 days. Then she gets a certificate and can go in for 5 days and see him for a little bit. So things are really restricted. He's doing better. He's finally able to stand and brush his teeth, and he got a shower today, which he was ecstatic about, so he could stand for that. Today, he was able to walk from the room to the rehab without only going part way with the walker. So he's making progress and happy about that. He'd like to hear from anybody that has time to talk because it's kind of boring there. His number is 333-6850. I ask his permission to give it out, and he'd be glad to have somebody call him.
Is that a direct line to his room?
Yes, that's his cell phone.
Oh, the cell phone.
How long is he going to be in there, Ken?
He figures today he had bad news that he'd have to stay till the 25th, and then they're going to do some more about what might have happened to him initially. Try to do an evaluation of that, but so far nothing's happened on that. So he was a little unhappy he had to stay the 10 days, but that's not too bad. So
No.
he hopefully can be moving by then and be able to get in and out of his house and whatever.
Yeah. Well, the weather's not helping for sure.
But he's, yeah, it's not helping being outside. You wouldn't want to be
Yeah.
outside with a walker. We're bad enough if you can walk to go out.
Right.
Well, anyway, he's making progress each day, so that's a good thing. That's what I wanted to let you know.
Good.
Thank you for the
What's
update.
his cell phone again?
333-6850. And that's an 845 number. Just checking where I wrote it down to make sure I was right. Anybody have anything else or any comments?
I have a question on the old Pinewood Estates that's back there off of Oak and Hickory. Are those roads, I know the new waterworks is going to be looping around from Hickory to Oak at the end of those. Is that going to extend, because Oak Street goes a little bit further? Is
So does
the,
Hickory.
pardon?
So does Hickory. It's just not developed, but on the maps it's there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't remember seeing any other lots here on Hickory, but there were where the Kesslers live at the end of Oak, and then there's another Menduzo or Menudo. I have to look it up. I can't remember their name. They don't have any hookup, but they've been there for years. And then there's another lot at the end there. Is town looking to put the road and water down there?
I'm sure the town is not looking to put the roads anywhere, so that's not a function that the town does. That would have to be done by the developer. It's all privately owned land. The Purcell sisters own it, their trust.
Okay, even if they're paying for those services?
They paid for those services over the years as being in the district. They're not paying for services they're not using, but it gives them the opportunity that it could be developed. But all these things, when they have to be put in, electric and so on, are always have to be done by the developer.
Okay. Okay. Understood.
Anybody else? I think we're ready then for the grand motion of the evening.
Kaput.
Well, that's a new way of putting it, but okay, we have Barry's motion to kaput the meeting. Do we have a second on kaput?
I'll second that kaput.
Okay. All in favor? I don't think we have to call this time. Anybody against? Okay. Adjourned.